Now, justice is a word we rightly hear a lot now when it comes to Ukraine. Justice for the victims of the atrocities being discovered, bringing to justice those carrying out alleged war crimes. Videos of bodies in Bucha, accounts of the killing of civilians are prompting huge efforts to gather evidence and build cases that will hopefully hold those responsible to account. But it is a hugely challenging and no doubt hugely affecting task. In Ukraine, that task is led by the country's Prosecutor General, Iryna Venediktova. She joins me now live. Good morning, Ms. Venediktova.
Good morning. Thank you that you are having me.
And I hope I've got the pronunciation of your name correct.
Everything is good. It's Russian surname, sorry.
Say again?
It's Russian surname, sorry. I am Ukrainian Prosecutor General and I have such complicated surname.
Okay.
It's about denazification. It's a very funny thing about when Russians speak about denazification.
Okay, I understand how important that is to you anytime and especially now. So I am this morning going to address you as Iryna, if you don't mind, so I don't get that wrong. What can you tell us about the situation that you are facing on the ground in trying to pursue your task to build evidence and so on?
We have very brutal, aggressive war. And actually what we see now in Ukraine, it's still fighting in eastern part of our country, absolutely brutal and aggressive. Donetsk region, Lugansk region, Kharkiv region are under attack this night. And actually we understand that Russian troops again and again started to took our territory and started to take our territory and to kill our people. And we see this from day and day. You spoke with the chief of Red Cross. Thank you very much for opportunity to listen about Kiev region. For this morning, we have actually number only for this morning 1,222 dead people only in Kiev region. Of course, what we see on the ground in all regions of Ukraine, it's war crimes, crimes against humanity, and we do everything to fix it.
Would you regard, knowing what we know about what happened at the railway station at Kramatorsk, is that a war crime?
Absolutely, it's war crimes. It was a Russian missile which killed more than 50 people. These people just wanted to save their life. They wanted to be evacuated with kids. It was women, it was children, and they just wanted to save their lives. It was.
Do you have any evidence that it was Russian?
Yes, we have evidence. We understand a lot of connections, times, and so on. That's why it will be one of other cases in our big profile. You know that now we started 5,600 cases in Ukraine only about war crimes. We have our anchor case from these 5,600 cases, 02 cases, sorry. And we have our main anchor case where we have 500 suspects. It's a case about aggression crime, aggression Russian Federation against Ukraine. And these 500 suspects, it is the top militaries, top politicians, top propaganda agents of Russia Federation who have done everything to start this war, and they continue this war in Ukraine.
Does that 500 include Vladimir Putin?
Vladimir Putin is the main war criminal of 21st century. We understand it, but from other side, all of us respect of international law, which is implemented in Ukrainian law. We know that 3 positions in national jurisdictions have functional immunity. It is president, prime minister, and ministry of foreign affairs. Only this purpose, because they are still on their position, they are not suspects in our criminal case. But actually, we understand when they will not be on their positions, or if prosecutor of International Criminal Court decided to prosecute them, they will be responsible for all their crimes.
So if I understand this correctly, as long as Mr. Putin remains president of the Russian Federation, he has some immunity. But the moment he loses or relinquishes office, he will be vulnerable to prosecution by you.
Absolutely. International practice has such examples. That's why we understand we started all practice of tribunals, all possibilities and cases in international humanitarian law, the practice of ICJ. We see now very young practice of ICC. That's why we understand different strategies how to punish main war criminals, because actually when dictators do again and again do their aggressive, very brutal wars in our modern, in civilized world, it's not normal. It's we as the international community should change maybe instruments, should change maybe mechanisms, and do everything, not only stop and punish. We should to prevent such possibilities of ordinary dictators in the future.
May I ask, you've talked about 5,600 cases. Can you tell us what is the mechanism? How, first of all, how do you know about these cases? And secondly, then how do you pursue them? Because we have a history, of course, of war crimes taking years, even decades, to be prosecuted or to bring people to justice.
Every such case, we have the facts. These 5,600 cases, they are absolutely different by their size. In one case, it could be only one fact of death civilians or to destroy civilian infrastructure. In other case, it could be actually tens or 100 episodes, as what we see with these our 500 suspects. That's why they're absolutely different by size. But it's impossible not to know about this. Almost every region in Ukraine was bombed. And we have a lot of concrete facts in every region, in every city. You mentioned with your previous guest about Mariupol case. More than 40 days, city in blockade. We had a lot of again, facts about war crimes inside Mariupol. We understand it's not only war crimes, it is crimes against humanity, because now only in Mariupol 90% of civilian infrastructure is destroyed. We have other cities in Ukraine, in northern part of Ukraine, in eastern part of Ukraine, as for example, Kharkiv, when Russian troops again and again bombed civilian objects, hospitals, kindergartens, schools. Near 1,000 educational institutions destroyed. It is civilian infrastructure without militaries inside. City, it's not city, sorry, it's town. Town Borodyanka. It's a town without militaries, without military infrastructure at all, but it was bombed and destroyed.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. I know how busy you are, but thank you so much, Iryna.
Thank you very much that you having us here and we can possibility to speak with your audience. And I am very appreciated for all Great Britain citizens and especially for your Prime Minister who was yesterday. It's a really great support for us. And we should stop it, punish and prevent. If we don't do it now, you remember Chechnya, you remember Georgia, you remember Syria, nothing. Now, Ukraine. What will be next? Nobody knows. That's why we should do it now. Very professional, but to do what we should to do.
Appreciated. Whew.